guys, it's Christy. Welcome back. If you're new to my channel, I am a writer and I love dissecting great movies, TV shows, characters, and especially coming up with things that writers especially can take away and use to improve their own projects. So if you like this kind of a video, definitely subscribe. I have a whole list of these ideas planned and I've actually done some before. I have a playlist that I'll link down below so you can check that out after you're done with this. My most recent video was storytelling lessons that we can learn from the Marvel superhero films. So if you like Iron Man, Captain America, those, Avengers, definitely check that out. I'll also link that one separately down below. So I was inspired to do this video after I learned that they had a Buffy reboot in the works. So in this video, I'm going to be talking all about the character arc of Buffy Summers and specifically what writers can take away from her amazing characterization. Buffy the Vampire Slayer is a simple premise. A tiny, teenaged girl enabled with superhuman strength and tasked with protecting the fate of the world. The title of Vampire Slayer may sound really cool, but the job description leaves a bit to be desired. At least, that is according to Buffy. Often feeling like she can't have a normal life, the series opens with Buffy hiding her secret identity from everyone in her life. A high school student, Season 1 Buffy often feels isolated from her peers. Even her family is unaware of her nightly slaying duties. She is going at it completely alone. Her life is disrupted when she moves to the new town of Sunnydale, aka the Mouth of Hell, and she meets her first confidant, Mr. Giles, who reveals to her that he is actually her hired watcher masquerading as the school librarian. Things are looking up for Buffy in this new town when fellow schoolmates Willow and Xander are fortuitously thrown into slaying the monsters of the world alongside Buffy and grow to be her closest friends. Her support system becomes a new motivation to fight evil. Still, Buffy is continually balancing the role of Slayer and student, whether it be missing a dance, lying to her mother when she's supposed to be grounded, or even expelled. Over and over, she is faced with choosing between her two lives, and the answer is always the same. The job comes first. A hard pill to swallow for an adolescent, especially considering that it's a job that she never signed up for. It is in the Season 1 finale when Buffy first realizes that being the Slayer may actually take her life. Perhaps more disturbing is the fact that she understands her role in the bigger picture and consents to sacrifice herself for the greater good. Thankfully, she is later resuscitated by Xander and lives to slay another day. One of the most intriguing relationships in the show is the one between Buffy and Mr. Giles. At first her mentor, Giles slowly grows into a father figure role for Buffy, whose own father isn't around. Though Giles doesn't have powers to relate to or persuade Buffy, what he does offer her is a mature perspective of someone who understands the position that she's in. He provides guidance and even comfort when she realizes that though she may have all the power, she doesn't have all the answers. Season 2 opens with Buffy recovering from the trauma of her near-death experience and developing the romantic relationship with her vampire boyfriend Angel. When their intimacy triggers Angel's curse, he turns into his alter ego Angelus, a nefarious demon that is hell-bent on punishing Buffy for making him feel anything human. This plot twist illustrates a basic milestone for most teenagers. With love often comes heartbreak. Buffy's struggle intensifies when Angelus aids in plotting to destroy the world, and she is now faced with the choice of saving the world or saving her boyfriend. Once again, happiness comes after responsibility, and Buffy does the unfathomable, stabs the love of her life through the heart. On top of it all, her mother discovers her secret identity as a Slayer, and Buffy runs away from home. Determined to hold on to her humanity, at one point her temporary watcher reminds her, "You're the Slayer," to which she responds, "I'm also a person." No matter the stakes, part of Buffy's strength lies in keeping her sass and humor intact, as this lightheartedness becomes somewhat of a coping mechanism to keep from unraveling. This, at least, is something she can control in an otherwise chaotic and unpredictable environment. Reminding herself that she is Buffy and not just the Slayer helps her persevere. In season 3, Buffy meets a new Slayer in town, Faith, and is elated to have someone to share in her experience. Faith's character offers a different perspective, one where the strength and power of the Slayer is a gift rather than a burden. For a moment, Buffy wonders if it would be easier to be like her. However, Faith lacks Buffy's moral compass, as she did not have the love and support that Buffy did to understand the responsibility of protecting the world. Faith is seduced to the dark side and teams up with the mayor of all evil, a direction which will ultimately validate Buffy's experience, that there is much more to being the Slayer than bragging rights. Angel, who has mysteriously returned from death, reconciles with Buffy only to break her heart again when it becomes clear that vampire and human couples don't often last. Somehow, despite the high school getting blown up and multiple expulsions, Buffy graduates, and season 4 begins with her, Xander, and Willow now in college. Buffy meets Riley, a seemingly normal guy with a secret of his own. Being a human, Buffy finds that she can relate to him in a way that she never could with Angel, though their chemistry is never quite able to measure up. Still struggling to find a work-life balance whilst fighting the latest big bad, Buffy has been slowly allowing herself to rely on her friends, and it is in season 4 that she admits that they are in fact stronger together. Throughout the seasons, it is demonstrated that though Buffy is technically a killer, she is not a murderer. Her compassionate conscience often stops her from slaying those that probably deserve it. Take Faith working as the mayor's assassin, or the vampire Spike, for example, when the super military folks chip him and he can no longer hurt humans. Buffy can't bring herself to kill someone she perceives as even slightly innocent. This becomes further apparent when Glory, the big bad of season 5, is hosted in the body of a human. While it may seem that Buffy is simply pure of heart, I believe part of her refusal to take a human life lies in the fact that doing so will harden her, and she wants to hold on to her identity. Giles, who cannot take the burden of a Slayer from Buffy, can at least help preserve her humanity and kills Ben in her place. Going back to the beginning of season 5, we open with a surprise teenage sister. At first, Buffy is unaware that she is actually a mystical energy magically crafted into a human, but with a lifetime of false human memories with Buffy and her mother. This season emphasizes Buffy's role in her family. Not only do we see how much they rely on her, but yet another universal human experience, that our time with our family is not guaranteed. When Joyce becomes terminally ill, a new kind of pressure is placed on Buffy. Not the fate of the world, but the responsibility of holding her family together through real-life sorrow. Buffy sacrifices her relationship, school, and career to keep everything together. But when Joyce passes away, Buffy learns another truth, that eventually she will lose the ones that she loves. In the season 5 finale, we come to yet another apocalypse, this time requiring the blood of her adopted sister. But Buffy finds a loophole, accepting self-sacrifice as her destiny, and gives herself to save both her sister and the universe. This moment is very different from the finale in season 1, as Buffy has now matured and is at peace with her decision. Buffy is brought back to life by her friends in season 6. She feels that she should be grateful, but she's conflicted. She thought she'd find her peace in death. What more does she have to give to them, to the world? She's given relationships, her career, her entire life. What more do they want from her? To make matters worse, Giles leaves her, believing she no longer needs him, and leaving Buffy emotionally drowning. She tries to hide her feelings, acting out in order to cope and make sense of her new identity. She seeks solace in the arms of Spike, a soulless vampire, reflecting her own feelings of emptiness. Neither the Slayer she once was, nor human, but something in between. A powerful episode this season is in which Buffy finds herself in an alternate reality, one in which she was never the Slayer. It's her first chance to be normal, the first time she gets to decide which path to choose, and ultimately she chooses her superhuman life with all of its disappointment, all of its messiness. In Season 7, potential slayers arrive in Sunnydale, seeking Buffy's protection from the biggest evil they have faced. Buffy aims to prepare them for what it means to be the Slayer, and as much as they have faced together, her friends still don't understand. She tells them, "I am the law," emphasizing what it means to be the sole power and ultimate authority. Over the season, she has taken the role of Slayer and transformed the title into her own definition. Not a killer of evil, but a protector of human life. She's come into her own as the Slayer and learned to shoulder the gift and burden. As the Slayer, she's reached her full potential and is able to then analyze the parts of her that have long been neglected. As Buffy says in one of the last episodes of the series, she's cookie dough. She's not done baking yet. Being the Slayer is not all of who she is. It's not her destination. The series wraps up with the potentials across the globe being awakened into full Slayers, and Buffy is finally no longer alone. So what can writers take away from the characterization of Buffy Summers? I first have to give all the credit to Joss Whedon for creating a strong female heroine, an icon that has certainly affected the self-esteem of many of the young people of my generation. Here are my top takeaways from the Buffy Summers character. Number 1, even if your hero comes from a supernatural or unusual background, give them motivations and experiences that are universal that the audience can relate to. Throughout fighting each of the apocalypses, she's still just a regular girl beneath it all. Number 2, identify what makes your character different. Buffy Summers is a dynamic character, but what makes her different is very simple. She has to kill vampires while other people don't. The strength of a superhero inside the body of a petite young girl. Number 3, just as you shouldn't make your protagonist too weak, don't make them invincible. For one, there's no conflict if the hero can't be destroyed. Second, it makes our audience connect more deeply with the hero fighting against the odds. Number 4, identify what your character holds most dear, take it away, and see how your character evolves. Number 5, force your hero to discover new strengths and new resources to overcome the obstacle. Never rely on what has worked before. Number 6, put their goals in direct conflict with one another. Force them to make difficult choices. Saving the world or saving her soulmate. Saving the world or graduating. Number 7, flip the script on supporting characters. Turn heroes into villains and villains into heroes. The protagonist will learn a different way to see the world outside of black and white. Number 8, give them an edge, then take it away. Repeat. Buffy gains, then loses her powers, makes, then loses friends, inherits a sister only to lose her mother. Just when things are looking up for the hero, they need to be reminded of why they can never have what they want. That is, at least, until the story is over. But be sure to remind them what they continue to fight for and why they can't give up. Number 9, give your characters moments to react and reflect. Buffy the Vampire Slayer does this exceptionally well. Every action has a reaction. The bigger the action, the more substantial the reaction should be. The character can't grow and the audience can't feel it if you skip this step and simply move on to the next action. After every tragedy or impossible conflict they overcome or fail to overcome, give them an opportunity to react and reflect. Number 10, give your hero a distinctive, colorful personality. Buffy quotes are famously identifiable, such as, "If the apocalypse comes, beat me," or "I may be dead, but I'm still pretty," or "Don't worry, I've patrolled in this halter many times." Buffy is a confident, resilient, and loyal optimist. Her character voice speaks to her age, her strength, and her unique perspective of the world. Thank you so much for watching. Those were all of my takeaways from the character arc of Buffy Summers. And if you're a Buffy fan, definitely let me know your favorite scene or character down below. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.